Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, B'chakodash. Giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom and salutation to you, sincere Akim, across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasam God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, B'chakodash, to feed the elect. Now, I just want to make a quick addition of the Watchtower, and I want to go into a little bit about the speech that Biden made the other day. It was very, very eerie. The whole setting, I have the image right here. The whole setting was so creepy, man. It was so eerie in the speech itself. I didn't see the whole speech, but I saw highlights and of the things that kind of popped out, the things that he said about civil war, upcoming potential civil war, and the Republicans against Democrats, and the potential end of democracy, and all these different things. And first and foremost, man, like there's never been a speech like this in the history of the United States of America. All right, and the last time you had a speech like this anywhere close to this was Lincoln, or you can go as far back as the Declaration of Independence, when Thomas Jefferson and a whole bunch of so-called founders were were ready to go to war, were ready to but basically declaring that they were ready to for bloodshed. So you had when Lincoln was ready for bloodshed, when you had the North against the South, that's when you had speeches like this. And then also when the founders were ready for bloodshed against the British, you also had speeches like this, and so basically this is kind of, I'll probably say the third time you get something similar. And this is definitely a sign that, the United States of America, known in the Bible as the virgin daughter of Babylon, is getting ready to descend into bloodshed. All right. So this is usually the declaration of violence and bloodshed and chaos that's getting ready to happen within the nation. So that's usually when you get a speech like this. And then then things just hit the fan, maybe like a couple. So at this point, we talking about a couple of days. It could be a matter of days, maybe weeks or whatever. But the signal has been given, and now at any point in time, we should be expecting some madness to take place. So one of the things that, well, actually, let's get the scripture first. Understanding how things go. This is Proverbs chapter 10, verse 3. It says, the Lord will suffer not. No, that's not the one that I want. I was here. There you go. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 6. It says, blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. See, that's the thing about the wicked. Violence is going to cover his mouth. And Esau, like the Edomites, the so-called white race, their mentality, their nature, because every nation has their nature. The nature of the Edomites is violence. It's just that it is different than the violence that an Israelite has. Like an Israelite's violence is usually forefront, is really in your face, letting you know that, hey, listen, I'm gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Now, Edomites, the way they do violence is different. They kind of they're serpents. They like to go around. They like to set up laws. They like to play around with the language and different things, because they don't really want a so-called fair fight. A so-called fair fight. Esau doesn't believe in fair fights. He believes in deceiving and having an advantage before he even goes into it with you. So, that's just how Esau, moves in his violence. All right. So, when you have speeches like that, right, that's the mouth of the wicked is covered with violence. You just got to be able to read between the lines so you can get past the deception. This was not a speech that was made, with so-called peace The intention was not the so-called peace. The intention was, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen. And I want to focus on the background because remember, you're dealing with the elites, you're dealing with symbolism, you're dealing with artwork, you're dealing with art imitates life imitates art type of work, and it was so eerie, similar to something that I've been speaking of for a long time, right? Which is V for Vendetta. You know, I've been speaking about how when all hell breaks loose, every city is not going to look the same. You're going to have cities that's going to look like World Warrior, Mad Max World Warrior, and then you're going to have cities that's going to look like V for Vendetta. All right, so it's gonna it really is gonna depend on the city as far as how your hell, how your chaos, how your tyranny, right, is gonna look like. Okay, so and then one of the things that stood out was the speech that the leader, right, the leader of freaking V for Vendetta, that he made when he was, basically, he was a tyrannical leader. He had everybody in subjection, democracy and all that bipartisan, all that was dead, right? And then he had that red and black, background when he made the speech, and it just, again, is going back to art imitating, life imitating art. This movie came out way back in 2005. So it came out in 2005. Now we are with 2022. We're in 2022, and these things are happening. But guess what? It's right along, according to prophecy. All right, because the prophets of the Lord, and we've been telling you this, right? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true Hebrew Israelites, all right, almost redundant, constantly going over and over and over, letting you know that, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen. Okay, this is what's getting ready to happen. All right, and it's also, you could see a movie like Hunger Games, same thing with President Snow, right? Like he gets into the speech, similar red and black background when he talks about the 13th colony or whatever, the 12th colony, and all the colonies that are under subjection because of the fact that they rioted and caused a civil war, so they had to be subjugated. So these are things that you see, and now it's getting ready to happen in real life. All right, and it's gonna be violence, it's gonna be chaos. All right, and it will be allowed to take place. The chaos will be allowed to take place. Civil unrest will be allowed to take place according to the scriptures, right? And then that's gonna basically open up the book of these laws that are already put in place to allow foreign troops to come inside America and basically help the United States military and help the government to subjugate everybody. All right. But you can't have the foreign troops inland unless you have a national emergency that has to do with a civil unrest to national proportions. OK, and then when you go into the news, you just type American Civil War. What pops up is like top stories. It's everywhere. The Insider, it says poll. This was 3 days ago. It says Insider. Poll finds 43% of Americans suspect civil war within the next 10 years. Well, guess what? It's going to happen. It's soon. It's not going to be within the next 10 years, within the next 2 years. No, this is going down. And that speech that Biden made, and he was railing on the Republicans, and then you got the Republicans over there. They're responding and railing back against the Democrats, all that, those political games that they play, right? Because it's nothing but a game. It's a chess that the elites have playing. They're playing both sides to actually go at each other, right? So you can have chaos and then bring order out of chaos. But that order is going to be tyranny and dictatorship out of chaos. Okay. And it says, then you got the Deseret News. It says, is civil war likely in the U.S.? Here's what Americans think. This was 19 hours ago. You got the London Guardian. You got the Guardian. More than 40% of Americans think civil war likely within a decade. All right. So this is what we dealing with. This is what we dealing with, man. So now let's go to the scriptures, because you have to understand why this is happening. All right. We dealing with the judgment of the great whore. This is the doom of Babylon, man. What you witnessing is the the beginning of the doom of Babylon. All right. America was found under violence, and that's the same way that Babylon is going out. Babylon is going out in violence. All right. That's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. So let's go Revelation 17:1. It says, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. All right. So what you get ready to witness in the civil unrest is the beginning of the judgment of the great whore. All right. And what is the great whore? All right. Well, actually, let's read number 2. It says, I said number 2. Verse 2, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? With her philosophies. So what's going on now? The philosophy of democracy hasn't worked abroad, and is definitely failing right here at home. All right, it's failing. So now what you're going to see, you're going to witness the ramifications of that failure, which is all the judgment of the Lord. Why? Because the nation of Israel has been brought captive in his land for over 500 years, mistreated. All kinds of madness and craziness has happened to us. But then also the nation of Israel, right, the majority, 2/3, have decided to actually, instead of taking this as a punishment from the Lord, you know, majority of Israelites have taken this place as a place of try to turn this place as a place of milk and honey. All right, but this is not the land of milk of honey. It's not the land of milk and honey. All right, not when you got the Skittles nation prancing around and you got all this madness going on. Like, no, the Lord is getting ready to deal with this place, man. All right, so let's jump down to 5, and it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And you notice it's written in all caps because it's a mystery, but the mystery has been revealed. That Mystery Babylon in the book of Revelation that will be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, as thus saith the Bible, is talking about the United States. It was always talking about the United States. Okay? And now you're getting ready to witness it with your own 2 eyes. You will not be able to deny the things that are going to happen, because it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your family members. It's going to affect you on all levels. All right. And we warned you of this, man. We warned you, beginning with our apostles and elders, through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. For years, for three decades and more, you were being warned week in and week out. Now we about to go into it. Joe Biden made the declaration, which again, that speech is a speech that you make right before you're about to have a civil unrest and what you call a quote unquote civil war or civil aggression or civil chaos. Okay. That's the speech that you make. That's the speech that Lincoln made. That's the speech that what's his name? Thomas Jefferson made. That got everybody riled up to go in and spill the redcoats' blood. Okay? The British. So you got to understand the times that you in, man. All right? And the thing is that the time that you in is this. This is a message to Egypt, which Egypt in the scripture is really speaking about modern day Egypt, which is the United States. It's a code name, another code name for the United States, just like Babylon. All right, it says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and there shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. All right. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's what we're going into. That's exactly what we're going into, man. It's going to be chaotic out here, man. Because everybody is divided, under through a political lines, man. Everywhere you go, man, people don't date people because of their political affiliations. People divorce each other because of political affiliations. You have sons ratting their parents out to the FBI and all these different institutions of tyranny They writing their family members to the government because of political ideas. Their political ideas and affiliations are different. So you've gotten to this point now that what a nation divided against itself should not stand, and this is the judgment of the Lord. All right, this is beautiful for us as Israelites because we're on the outside looking in. We shouldn't be out here signing up with no damn Democrat, and we shouldn't be signing up with no damn Republicans because both of them are what? They're both our masters, our slave owners. They own us. All right. Regardless of who wins, they will still own us, the Israelites. So we have to sit back and let the Lord do what he's doing because he's always done this throughout our history as Israelites. He's always had our enemies fight against each other before we went out there and took down those nations. Going to our history in the Old Testament, you will realize before Israel moved in, there was always chaos. Chaos would erupt in the midst of our enemies, and they'll be broken down morally and spiritually. But so by the time we moved in, they were done. Okay? So that's how the power, the glory always went back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, not in the hands of the men who slew the enemies. It was always the Yahweh Hashem Yahushua who broke down our enemies in front of us. All right? So let me go to this is Ezekiel chapter 7 and 22. As a matter of fact, let me not skip. Let's go to Amos chapter 6. All right, those at ease in Zion, these Israelite souls, like your preacher, fake pastor, Christian pastor, imam, and all that, that's been telling you that everything was going to be sweet and Gucci. Well, guess what? They've lied to you. They've lied to you, and the day of reckoning is coming. Amos 6:1. Woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountains of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations to whom the house of Israel came. I'm going to jump down. It says, ye that put far away the evil day and caused the seed of violence to come near. So you put far away the evil day and you made our people grow closer and open up their arms and their hands to Edom Esau, which is the seed of violence. The seed of violence are the Edomites, man. But that's what they do. They spill blood. They get off on that. All right? They get off on that, man. Esau is a man of blood. That's why you see your boy got that red background, man, because red is significant for red means aggression. It also can mean a lot. It can mean passion, right? It means aggression. When you see red, you already know like it's shit's about to go down. All right. So so let me see. Let me go to Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 22. It says, my face will I turn also. Actually, I'm going to start at 21. And I will give it into the hands of the strangers. Yeah, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. It's talking about, the temple of the Lord being polluted. But really, the temple of the Lord is the Israelite man. All right, we are the temple. It's not an actual temple. It's we the people, the Israelites. We're the temple. The Lord said He's going to allow the violent man to spoil. All right, the final besiege of Jerusalem. It says, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked of the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. So guess what, man? That's what's going to happen. Because the city of Jerusalem has been full of violence. You Negroes, especially you Negroes, spilling each other's blood, but also the Hispanics, so-called Hispanics. The northern tribes have been doing the same thing. All the violence has been around our so-called communities. For that, guess what? The Most High is going to bring true violence by the hands of Edom Esau. As he's collapsing Esau's kingdom, Esau's going to get buck wild, man. And he's going to bring his anger, and his hatred is going to come out. And he's going to be seeking out you Israelites for what? The judgment, man, to take you out. All right. That's just the reality, man. Listen, man, it's going to be effed up out here, man. It's going to be effed up out here, man. There's no other way to say it, man. So let me go to 2nd Ezra 14, and I'm gonna go to 4. It says, As a matter of fact, let me start at 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So we speaking in the spirit of the Lord. This is not our own personal feeling or own personal opinion. This is the word of the Lord being broken down to you. It calls them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. That's why we don't care. We keep putting the work out there, man. We out there on the highways and the edges, the internet highways. We don't care, because we understand that what we see is true, and we have faith, and we can see it now developing right in front of our eyes. All right. It says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. And we coming into the time now where all the unfaithful are going to meet their maker. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, right, with civil and red civil war, blood is going to be shed, violence, that's a form of the sword, famine, which we got famine that's coming, right? You got the energy crisis that's coming, that's going to lead to famine and thirst, death and destruction. All right, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, so the Most High is getting ready to do some serious work. Now let's close with this. This is 2 Ezra 14 and 13. It says, Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So now you got to renounce corruption, man, because the doors of mercy are closing, man. All right. It went from a matter of years to now and it went down to a matter of months, and now we talking about a matter of days. It's gonna be some. I'm telling you, because we going into September. This is false flag season. This is false. The fall is false flag season. Look in the history, it's fall flag season. At any point in time, things can really just go left. All right. Something big is in the air, man. Something real big is in the air. We don't know in detail, but when it hit, we all gonna find out. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna find out what it is that Esau got in the plans, man. All right. So it says, verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, and mortal thoughts cast away the burdens of men, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So yeah, man, all the garbage, listen, everything has a season and time. Worrying about building businesses and making more money and all this, that's cool, but understand that, man, that when this thing hit the fan, that's going to be the least of your worries, man. So that's all I had, man. This is another edition of the Watchtower. Like I said, violence, blood, and guts is in the air. We witnessing the beginning of the doom of Babylon, man. Hey, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshua, Ba'ashem Machakudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutation. To you say, Akim, so calls the four winds, pushing this truth as the city of heart. Because I'm a guy from a DC camp. Shalom.